You have been here before.
The investigation room. The corkboard. The cases. 6 killers found. 6 truths surfaced. The kind of record that builds a reputation. There is one thing the record doesn't show. The case that came before all of them. The one that never got a number. This is case 007. The file. The investigator received his first case in a plain, dark envelope. No return address. No postmark. He assumed it was a tip. It was an assignment. 5 more envelopes followed over 3 years. Cases 001 through 006. Every victim real. Every killer real. Every injustice real. All of it fed to him by the Bureau. All of it fed to him by Amy Gillis. Amy chose him for one reason above all others. The world trusted him. She needed that trust intact. She needed it for the last move. But before she could use him, she needed to understand what he had done and what he had buried. 3 years before case 001. A whistleblower made contact with the investigator. She worked inside a hospital trust. She had documented something she could not ignore. Patient safety records. Falsified. Systematically. Over 4 years. The falsifications were not errors. They were decisions, made at a level inside the institution that had the authority to make them stick. The whistleblower had names, dates, documents, everything the investigator needed to take it further. He verified the evidence himself. Every document checked, every name confirmed. He sat with it for 11 days. And then he buried it. The investigator did not bury the evidence for money. He did not bury it for personal gain. He buried it for one person. His mentor. The person who had built him. Who had given him credibility when he had none. Who had opened doors that would otherwise have stayed closed. The mentor's name was in the documents. Not at the edges, at the center. The investigator told himself he would come back to it. That it wasn't the right moment. That there was a better way. He never came back to it. And the institution kept running. The file Amy left documents what happened next. 16 names. 16 deaths. Recorded as natural causes. Complications. Expected deterioration. The kind of deaths that happen inside institutions and get filed and forgotten. They were not forgotten by Amy. She documented every one, every name, every date, every cause of death that was not the real cause of death. 16 people, 16 families, and a man who had the evidence to stop it. 3 years before the last name was added to the list. The investigator read the list in the bureau flat. He got to the 14th name. He stopped. Sarah Voss. Case 003. The woman who disappeared twice. The case he solved. The case he stood in front of his board and called justice. 3 years before that, Sarah Voss had come to him. Not about her husband, about her medical records. From the same hospital trust. The same falsified documents. The same cover-up. She had seen something that didn't make sense. She brought it to the one person she trusted. He told her he would look into it. He never looked into it. 2 years later, Amy sent him her case, repackaged, stripped of the hospital trust connection, presented only as a domestic abuse case. He solved it. He got the credit. He never saw what was underneath it. Or he did, and he buried that too. The case he thought he solved was the case he caused. That is the line in the file that the investigator cannot move past. Not because it is unfair, because it is accurate. Sarah Voss came to him with evidence. He buried it. The institution kept running. Her records were falsified. Her husband used those records against her. She disappeared twice, trying to escape a situation that the investigator had the power to prevent. He didn't prevent it. He solved it. 3 years later, with Amy's help, and called it justice. There is one more thing in the file. A name. The mentor. The person the investigator buried the evidence to protect. Still active. Still inside the institution. Still protected. And present, 11 years ago, at a private gathering in rural North Yorkshire. The same gathering Amy Gillis attended. The same night. The same room. The mentor was not just the person who built the investigator. The mentor was the reason Amy needed the investigator in the first place. She couldn't go after the mentor directly, not without credibility, not without someone the world already trusted standing behind the evidence. She needed the investigator clean, or clean enough. She needed the world to believe him when the time came. Amy Gillis investigated the investigator for 8 months. She built the file. She documented everything. The buried evidence. The whistleblower. The 16 names. Sarah Voss. All of it. And then she made a decision. She decided that a compromised instrument was still an instrument. That the cases she needed surfaced were more important than the case against him. She spared him. Not because she believed in him, because she needed him. The file was not a punishment. It was not a warning. It was an instruction. Finish what you should have started 3 years ago. The mentor is still out there. The institution is still running. And now, the investigator is the only person who can bring it down. Because he is the only person who knows exactly what he buried and why. The investigator stands in the bureau flat, the file open in his hands. Amy's board behind him. He understands now what he is. Not the investigator. The case. and the case is not closed. He spent 6 cases building a reputation for finding the truth. Case 007 is the truth he buried.